Well, welcome back, everybody. It is Matchup Preview Thursday. I got Joe in the office here today. He's super psyched for our matchup. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. I'll save that one for last. We're going to start here with Kevin versus Senior. So, Senor Tortuga against Big Ass TDs, the Patriarch versus Big Ass TDs. Looks like a mismatch on paper, but you can't count out Big Kev because he's basically got the entire Commanders and they are playing against the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers are the worst team in football. They're absolutely awful. It's an interesting strategy, though, starting four players from the same team. They can't all score at the same time. So it really is upside limiting. So kind of a dumb strategy from Kevin's point of view here, but it's tough to argue with the matchup. They're playing the Panthers. Again, still limiting your upside, though, starting four players from the same team. We've seen this before. People have done this before. It typically doesn't work the way you think it's going to. And you know what? That's my bold prediction on Kevin's side is that Jaden Daniels underproduces his projection and the Panthers beat the Commanders. You heard it here first. Panthers are going to beat the Commanders. Who's going to boom for Kevin, though? I really, really like Tony Pollard at Buffalo. I think it's a boom week for Tony Pollard. He goes for a $110 and one touchdown en route to crushing Buffalo. On Senior's side of things, who do I like? I love Javonte Williams this week. He's playing the New Orleans Saints. It's a great matchup. I don't know where Senior got him, but great play. I think he's a plug-and-play RB1 tonight and puts up 90 yards and 2 scores on the ground. Javonte Williams' season is upon us tonight. Now, what don't I like on Senior's team? I don't like the fact that Lamar Jackson is getting another powder soft matchup for him to pad his MVP stats. I hate it. Lamar's not an MVP, and I'll tell you why not. Because Lamar can't win in the postseason. We all know it. He's never even made a Super Bowl. Lamar is one of the most overrated quarterbacks in football. Fantasy, though, he's awesome. Going to score a shit ton of points. Senior gets the dub relatively easily this week. Now, Steve versus Jared in the grudge match. Here we go. Jordan Love at home against Houston. I love it. T. Higgins, great matchup with Cleveland. Kamara has a pretty easy matchup with Denver tonight. Tank Bigsby, great matchup with New England. They're going to update his projection probably by about 6 or 7. He's going way up, value going way up. Brock Bowers, value going way up now that Davante Adams is officially gone from the Raiders this season. And it looks like Aaron Jones is returning to practice today. So all bad news for Steve. My bold prediction on Jared's side of things, Tyreek Hill, even without Tua, puts up a $150 and a touchdown against the Colts. The Colts defense is that bad. Tyreek is that good. We're going to see prime vintage Tyreek this week. What I don't like on Jared's team, I think Ladd McConkey, yeah, I get it. Easy matchup, but they are running a pre-Civil War offense there. It is archaic. I just can't see him having much of a game, but we'll see. Now, he is a safe play, but not much upside to him. Now on Steve's side of things, love J.K. Dobbins in that same matchup because again, they're running a Navy wishbone offense, essentially. J.K. Dobbins is going to get over 20 carries. He's facing a garbage run defense. He's going to have a day. Who's going to disappoint Steve, though? David Montgomery. He's playing at the Vikings. Montgomery is going to be held out of the end zone for the first time this season. Book it. So, I think Josh Allen, pretty good matchup at home against the Titans. I'm not worried about that. Diggs with a great matchup against the Downy Soft Swiss Cheese Packers secondary, and Neighbors should be back to crush the Eagles. So who's going to win this matchup? I got Jared going over here, guys. Jared gets the dub, just barely, but he gets the dub. And that is our matchup of the week, Jared versus Steve. All eyes on you guys. Now, in a matchup of nobody really cares, we got Lamb of Godwin versus Worthy of Our Trust. And Trey, if you're watching this, for the love of Christ, do something about your team. You got to go make some free agent moves. Do something. Get some players to plug in, for God's sake. And would you, for the love of God, stop benching Brock Purdy? Brock Purdy is kicking ass week in and week out. So, not much to like on Trey's side of things. You got to go with Kenneth Walker. At Atlanta should be a smash spot for him. Now, by the way, the Ravens defense sucks. They are not what they used to be. You can cut them, pick up someone else. On Tony's side of things, who's going to smash? I'll tell you guys who's going to smash here for Tony. You are looking at the Devon Achane domination game. I think the Dolphins offense gets back on track coming out of the bye, playing a garbage defense. I think Achane, Tyreek Hill, those are going to be the guys that they funnel this offense through. They're both going to dominate this week. I also really like Trey McBride against the Chargers. So, obviously Tony's going to win this one because Trey has essentially given up and his team is a bye. That's just what it is. He gave me his best effort, but apparently I'm the only one he tries against. Now, we got No Diddy versus Bald on Bald Crime with a picture of Mr. Clean. A+ work from Jason here. And let's start with Paul's team, though. I really do like Kirk Cousins against the Seahawks. Their defense has been getting dominated lately. They're banged up. But my bold prediction is gotta go to Deontay Johnson. I told you they were going to beat the Manders. How are they going to do that? Deontay Johnson. He is going to crush this Commanders secondary. I'm talking a $140 in the air and at least one touchdown. Deontay Johnson with a mega game. Also like Devontae Adams to get in the end zone in his first game back with Aaron Rodgers. Now, we got Bald on Bald Crime, Jason's side of things, Joe Burrow at Cleveland, Jamar Chase at Cleveland. That's a good matchup, good stack. They've typically dominated Cleveland throughout their careers. They're going to do really well. Derrick Henry at Tampa Bay. Vita Vea is playing. So that means Derrick Henry is going to be a little more disappointing than you would expect. I'm going to say Derrick Henry less than 12 fantasy points for the first time since week 1. But who's going to blow up for Jason? Who's going to have that mega monster game? I love Brian Thomas Jr. against New England. Brian Thomas Jr., 100 yards and a touchdown. Book it. It's happening. Get him in your anytime TD bets. So who's going to win? Jason's going to win. Paul has no chance. Speaking of having no chance, it is time to review me against Senior AARP Joe. And, Joe has his team name as Finding Debo. As I pointed out in the chat, you know where you can find Debo? You can find him on the injury report because he's got a banged up wrist. Mike Evans tweaked something, and now he's not practicing. It's Thursday. He's not practicing. That's a red flag, guys. Jordan Mason, yeah, he's going to play. He's going to suck. It's not going to matter. He's playing Kansas City. It's a nightmare of a matchup, and he has to deal with a sprained AC joint in his shoulder. Plus, Isaac Guerrero is just a much better player than him. I think the Niners are going to start to see that, and they're going to start using Guerrero more. You can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. Guerrero's better than Mason. Mason belongs back on special teams, and he will be shortly. So who's going to do well for Joe? Man, it's tough. It's tough to pick anybody that's going to do well on this dumpster fire garbage team. I'm going to say, though, Baker Mayfield has a day against Baltimore. That should be a shootout. Even if Mike Evans sits, Baker Mayfield, big game incoming against Baltimore. Who don't I like? Pretty much everybody else on Joe's team. I mean, this is a disaster, guys. And you look at my side, there's nothing not to like. All my guys are awesome. They're all going to crush it. I might score 140 plus. But let's go back to Joe real quick. Bold prediction: Baker Mayfield throws 4 touchdowns Monday night against Baltimore, and Joe crosses the 70-point threshold about halfway through the fourth quarter. So there you go, Joe. You'll get over 70 after Baker scores 35 on Monday night. Now, my team will head into Monday night with a 70-point lead. 70, guys. Book it. It's happening. How's it going to get there? My bold prediction: Saquon Barkley puts up an Alvin Kamara week 2-ish game against his former team in his first game back at MetLife. He is going for 4 touchdowns this week against the G-Men. And then, by the way, that's not going to be it. Jalen Hurts is going to get 2 touchdowns as well, and both of them are going to go to Devonta Smith. Suck it. That's how it's going to go. Just beating the ever-living crap out of Joe. I'm not going to change my team name to Elder Abuse like Jason did, because that's bad juju. I'm just going to have the police called on me after I whip Joe's ass this week. I really kind of feel bad for what's about to happen. I mean, you look at Kyren Williams at home against the Raiders. Oh, my God. Breece Hall, yeah, it's a tough matchup against the Steelers. It doesn't matter. They can't stop him. He's Breece Lightning, baby. He is the guy. So there you go, guys. There's your matchup previews. I'm going to crush Joe and leave him a battered husk, a shell of his former self. He probably will leave the chat. And that's how it's going to go. So good luck to everybody except Joe. See you later.